What's up guys? So Isuzu Malaysia has brought us here to Krabi, Thailand to check out the latest version of their multiple record-breaking pickup truck, the new facelift Isuzu Dmax. So just a little backstory on this Dmax. It has created quite a hype for itself previously. It did trip from Bangkok to Malacca in one tank, a total of 1,600 kilometers, and then it broke its own record by completing a trip from Bangkok all the way down to Singapore, a total of 1,800 kilometers, again in one tank. So obviously, this being a facelift model, there's a few changes on the exterior, a few changes on the interior, but the main highlight of this new pickup is its new 1.9-litre turbo diesel engine. Oh my god, where's the engine? It's so tiny! So this is the new 1.9-litre turbo diesel engine that Isuzu is rather proud of. This is the culmination of, I think, almost 4 years of research and development, and as a result, 150 horsepower and 380 Newton meters of torque from a 1.9-litre turbo diesel engine. And Isuzu says it's going to be more powerful, more efficient, it's a lot quieter, and throughout our drive from Krabi all the way to Phuket, something like 200 kilometers, I'll be telling you how this car drives, how it feels inside the cabin, and later on when we arrive in Phuket, I will be walking you through all the new features that you'll be getting, and can't wait to update you soon. So you know the saying that goes, there's no replacement for displacement? Well, with the new facelifted Dmax with a very compact 1.9-litre turbo diesel engine, Isuzu is trying to prove that that statement is no longer true. And on paper at least, the facts speak for itself. Before you get just over 120 horsepower with the 2.5-litre engine, now you get 150 horsepower. As for torque figures, you get 320 Newton meters from before, now you get 350 from a 1.9-litre engine, which has been optimized in so many ways. Improved injectors, strengthened cylinder lining. It's insane the kind of optimization they have done to squeeze out so much power from such a small engine. And get this man, because it's a smaller engine, it's 56 kilograms lighter from the previous 2.5-litre engine. And from what they have tested, the combined fuel consumption figures is 8 litres per 100 kilometers. And I think for a small engine carrying such a big car, which is usually not a good idea, you know, for fuel consumption, I think that's actually quite impressive. In terms of the real world, well, we haven't actually got to test it out. I suppose it's only something that we'll get to prove when the car is eventually launched in Malaysia and we get to take it out for a review. As for the fuel required to power this new facelifted Dmax, Isuzu has just told us in the press conference that we had earlier that the minimum requirement is Euro 2M. Unlike certain diesel vehicles in Malaysia where, you know, it requires the minimum Euro 5 diesel, you can rest assured that running cost of this car, at least in terms of fueling it, would be low. So down to the most important question, the one that you guys would most definitely ask. Are they mad? 1.9-litre engine for a, what, 2-ton vehicle? Does it feel like a big car with a small engine? Does it perform that way? First impressions, man. I'm driving around the city centre now, we're trying to get out of the city. No, actually doesn't feel that way at all. Like I said, it has increased power, increased torque figures. I mean, in the lower gears at least, it feels perfectly fine. I mean, it definitely doesn't feel as powerful as perhaps the Triton or maybe even the Ranger, but does it feel underpowered? Does it feel like it needs a lot more power? The answer is no. It doesn't feel that way at all. There's sufficient torque at very low RPM, I think from about 1008, and compared to its competitors, which offers maximum torque from somewhere between 1006 to about 2008, this one is just 200 RPM more, and I don't think it's that big a deal actually. So to complement this new 1.9-litre turbo diesel engine, Isuzu has also developed a new 6-speed automatic and manual transmission to fully utilize the engine's output. You know, it comes with wider ratios, so a wider power band, and from where I'm sitting, the results do show for itself. You know, driving along the city centre for the last few kilometers now, I do feel a wider power band. Power comes from as early as 1800 RPM, as I've mentioned earlier, and it goes all the way to about 3000 plus with quite consistent power delivery, and I think it's quite impressive. And this brings me to my next topic, transmissions, man. You know, I'm pretty sure you guys know by now that there is one pickup out there with 10 gears. Is that even necessary? I think 6, maybe even 7, I don't know, I'm no engineer, but from what I've experienced so far with all these pickups, I think 6 gears, man, is more than enough. I think it's the perfect match, whether it's a 1.9-litre or a 2.5-litre or a 3-litre engine. There's really no need for so many gears. I think it sort of strains the transmission, you know, when it has to work so hard. Say it's cruising at 7th or 8th gear at a very low speed, and when you need a pickup, it needs to drop 3-4 gears to give you the pickup that you need. I mean, it provides a lot of smoothness, that I won't deny, but in hindsight, it actually makes the transmission work a lot harder, and in a way, maybe even react a lot slower. It's just like the 9G Tronics that you get in the Mercedeses. You know, it's very smooth. That I don't deny. That's the one very positive outcome out of those gearboxes. But I noticed, man, and if you guys have driven it, you know that I'm right, is that when you are trying to accelerate, say you're cruising at an 8 or 9 gear, when you want to just floor the throttle and really pull hard, it takes a little longer for the car to react, and I think that actually sort of is a buzzkill. There's no other way to say it. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can hear from the engine, but I'm actually climbing quite a steep hill at the moment, which is quite a good gauge of the engine's performance, and from where I'm sitting, it doesn't feel like it's struggling, man. Like, it could do with a bit more power. I am maybe at half throttle, pushing the engine a bit, but is it struggling? From where I'm sitting, no, man, not really. Man, in terms of experience, I think this is as Thai as it gets, man. You know, I'm on the way to Phuket, driving a Dmax. Frankly, the only thing missing is me being able to speak Thai, man. And perhaps 2 stories of cargo in the cargo bed, and then I'm full Thai, fully blended in. Okay, so we've just arrived in Phuket from Krabi. It was about a 200-kilometer drive, so we really couldn't test the full lengths of the 1.9 litres fuel efficiency. You know, unlike the Dmaxes that I told you before, they did 1 tank from Bangkok to Singapore, Bangkok to Malacca, but still rather impressive. We literally only used like a small bit of the tank, which offered about 925 kilometers with a full tank. That's pretty crazy. But now that we're here, I'm going to take you through a walk around of this new facelifted Dmax. And I know what you're thinking. Facelifted again? How many more things can they change and improve? Turns out, quite a fair bit actually. Starting from the front, you now get a redesigned grille. As for the headlamps, you get bi-projector LEDs, you get a redesigned fog lamp housing, you get a new wheel design on the side, but I think the coolest part is at the back. So there are 2 new additions to the back of this new facelifted Dmax. Number 1, check this out. Graceful as ever. Number 2, you now get this tray that allows you to sort of load and unload heavy stuff, you know, your heavy durian baskets and you know, those big orange ice boxes that people use to like fill in fishes. Now you don't have to break your back, you know, loading and unloading stuff into it, man. But here's the thing, and here is the buzzkill. These things are optional items. That damper, that one damper that you have by the corner to make the tailgate fall easier and more gracefully, costs 650 ringgit. I'm not sure if it's worth it. Perhaps you know an engineering shop, a machine shop that can custom one for you, but hey man, that's a really good idea. Just sadly you gotta pay money for it. Anyways, let's go check out what's inside. So inside the facelifted Dmax, it's a largely familiar interior that we've been so used to over the years now. But there are a couple of minor changes. Take the seat for example. Isuzu says that it's been redesigned, now upholstered with a mix of leather and fabric, and it also comes with black garnishes by the window controls and the glove box to exude a more luxurious feel. I guess that kind of luxury is perhaps open to interpretation. Some people would see it as luxury, some people would just see it as a standard trim. What I really like though is this infotainment system. The interface projects a very modern display and it's really smooth, very responsive, something other manufacturers can really learn from. Elsewhere, you still get this round sort of control dial thing in the center. I think it's a bit dated by now, it's been around forever, although my colleague does say that it looks like the one from Koenigsegg. I think it's a bit far-fetched, but So elsewhere, you get two USB ports, one of which is a fast charging port. You know, nowadays even contractors, fishermen need to charge their phone constantly. While I have no problems with the fact that it doesn't come with electric seats, I think manual ones are always better. I don't think people who buy the Dmax would complain as well, but I think that it should at least have telescopic steering. It's a modern requirement, man. It's 2019, you know, it really helps, you know, get you into a really appropriate driving position. I have no complaints, nothing too particular, but it would be much better if I have that option. Back here, while other pickup manufacturers have highlighted an improvement in terms of the sitting angle, there's not much that was talked about for the new Dmax. Although, having driven here from Krabi to Phuket, I did spend some time in the backseat, and from what I experienced, it's actually quite comfortable, especially with more than sufficient padding. Elsewhere, you also get an armrest here, a single fast charging USB port, and cleverly concealed cup holders. Anyways, the other big USP to this new compact engine is the fact that it's a lot quieter than before. Isuzu says it's about 2-3 decibels quieter than the engine it replaces, and while the figure may not seem overly impressive, I'd say it's actually noticeable, especially at idle. So we're going through some winding roads at the moment, and I must say in terms of handling, it's really not the Dmax's strong suit. But that's the thing though, isn't it? Nowadays, there's such a wide variety of pickup trucks out there that you can pretty much pick one to suit your needs. You know, if you want one that sort of drives a lot better, one to spend more time in the urban environment, and then occasionally you can take it out to the construction site or, you know, off-roading and it will still do well, man, I'll definitely look at the Ranger or the Triton. But if you want something that's robust, you know, that's really hardy, you know, can take a real beating, something to use as a workhorse, something most of you guys, I believe, still buy pickups for, then the Dmax, the Hilux, some of y'all would say as well. So driving from Krabi to Phuket, you know, we've spent a lot of time on the highways, on the back roads, and the one thing you notice, man, Hiluxes and Dmaxes, and in this context, I'm just gonna stick with the Dmax. Obviously, those are single cabs, but the kind of things you see them carry, man, like these things are used and trusted as workhorses, carrying, I don't know, everything from like pigs, durians, agricultural goods, raw materials. I guess seeing so many of them here being used for those kind of purposes as workhorses really proves a point. These kind of things, pickups, vehicles in general, are not cheap in Thailand, man, and these guys obviously have to pick one that's a proven product. And having seen so many Hiluxes and Dmaxes, I think that says it all, man. When it comes to durability, reliability, robustness, guess you can't go wrong with them. Especially with Isuzu, a little bit of backstory on Isuzu, and these guys have been doing trucks since the 1920s. And they've been doing diesel engines since the 30s, if I'm not wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but man, they've been doing it for just shy of 100 years. And I guess when it comes to this kind of stuff, they know what they're doing. In that sense, rest assured, this 1.9 litre engine, it may sound like asking a lot out of the engine, you know, despite being so small capacity and yet squeezing so much power. Isuzu has assured us that almost every aspect of the 1.9 litre engine has been strengthened in terms of the pistons, injectors, cylinders. They've all been strengthened to handle that kind of power. In fact, one of us during the press conference even asked, can this 1.9 litre engine handle a higher boost? You know, obviously because, you know, the guys in East Malaysia have been tuning up Dmaxes to produce 500, 700 Newton meters of torque. So those guys asked, can it make more power? While the guys from Isuzu gave us a very conservative answer, he did say that it can produce just as much, if not more power than the 2.5 litre engines. So that actually sounds pretty exciting, man. I can't wait to see how much more power those guys in Sabah, maybe even the guys from Peninsula, can squeeze out this 1.9 litre engine, man. Because that 2.5 litre engine was so strong. With stock internals, it was making 500, 700 Newton meters. It was insane. Right, I guess that's it, man. That's all I can share for now, given the limited time that we have with the car. Considering that I'm now in Phuket, I'm gonna do everything that people come to Phuket to do. See you guys, man.